Kovind is the winner. Let's turn to the lady who's lost, the UPA or the opposition nominee, Meira Kumar.
मैं सम्मानीय कोविंद जी को बधाई देती हूँ भारत के राष्ट्रपति चुने जाने पर। मैं उन्हें अपनी शुभकामना देती हूँ कि इस कठिन समय में उनके ऊपर संविधान की रक्षा का दायित्व आया है। मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी को और सभी विपक्ष के मुख्य दलों को जिन्होंने मुझे अपना प्रत्याशी बनाया और मेरा समर्थन किया। मैं निर्वाचक मंडल के सभी सदस्यों को धन्यवाद देती हूँ जिन्होंने मुझे अपना मत दिया। मैं उन सभी देश के नागरिकों को धन्यवाद देती हूँ जिन्होंने मेरा समर्थन किया, मुझे शुभकामनाएं दी, मेरा उत्साहवर्धन किया। ये मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि जिस विचारधारा की लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए मैं इस चुनाव में शामिल हुई थी, वो आज 20 जुलाई 2017 को समाप्त नहीं हुई है। विचारधारा और मूल्यों की ये लड़ाई जारी रहेगी क्योंकि हमारे देश के बहुत सारे लोग इसमें विश्वास करते हैं और इसमें अपना संबल पाते हैं। सामाजिक न्याय, पारदर्शिता, सबको ले चलने की हमारी इच्छा, धर्मनिरपेक्षता, प्रेस की आजादी, अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी, जाति पाति का विनाश, हम ये सब चाहते हैं और निरंतर इसके लिए इतनी ही शक्ति के साथ लड़ते रहेंगे। आप सब ने मुझे हमेशा साथ दिया है मेरा। आप सबको धन्यवाद। I want to congratulate Shri Kovind ji on his election as the President of India, our great country. I extend my good wishes to him as it has fallen upon him to uphold the Constitution of India in letter and spirit in these most challenging times. I want to thank all those honorable members of the Collegium who have voted for me. I want to thank Srimati Sonia Gandhi and all the leaders of those opposition political parties who unanimously made me their candidate in this election. I want to thank my countrymen and women who have extended their good wishes to me and have supported me. I want to make it very clear that today, on 20th July 2017, my battle for ideology doesn't end. It will continue because the ideology, the value system, the principles that I am fighting for are held sacred by most of the people of my country. They find strength in it. These are social justice, inclusiveness, secularism, transparency, freedom of expression, freedom of the press, total destruction of the caste system. I will continue to fight for these values at all the strength at my command. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, there is Meira Kumar saying, accepting defeat gracefully and saying she will continue to fight for the values. But the man of the moment is Nath Kovind. Those celebrations, as you can see, continue in his village. Let's listen in to what Mr. Kovind said. He spoke rather emotionally in his first remarks after being elected president. Listen in.
मेरा चयन मुझे बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी का एहसास करा रहा है। व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरे लिए ये बहुत ही भावुक क्षण है। आज दिल्ली में सुबह से बारिश हो रही है। बारिश का ये मौसम मुझे बचपन के उन दिनों की याद दिलाता है जब मैं अपने पैतृक गांव में रहा करता था। घर कच्चा था, मिट्टी की दीवारें थी। तेज बारिश के समय फूस की बनी छत पानी रोक नहीं पाती थी। हम सब भाई बहन कमरे की दीवार के किनारे खड़े होकर इंतजार करते थे कि बारिश कब समाप्त होगी। आज देश में ऐसे कितने ही रामनाथ कोविंद होंगे जो इस समय बारिश में भीग रहे होंगे, कहीं खेती कर रहे होंगे, कहीं मजदूरी कर रहे होंगे, शाम को भोजन मिल जाए इसके लिए पसीना बहा रहे होंगे। आज मुझे उनसे कहना है कि परौंख गांव का रामनाथ कोविंद राष्ट्रपति भवन में उन्हीं का प्रतिनिधि बनकर जा रहा है। मुझे ये जिम्मेदारी दिया जाना देश के ऐसे हर व्यक्ति के लिए एक संदेश भी है जो ईमानदारी और प्रामाणिकता के साथ अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करता है। इस पद पर चुना जाना न कभी मैंने सोचा था और न कभी मेरा लक्ष्य था, लेकिन अपने समाज के लिए, अपने देश के लिए अथक सेवा भाव आज मुझे यहाँ तक ले आया है। यही सेवा भाव हमारे देश की परंपरा भी है। राष्ट्रपति के पद पर मेरा चयन भारतीय लोकतंत्र की महानता का प्रतीक है। इस पद पर रहते हुए संविधान की रक्षा करना और संविधान की मर्यादा को बनाए रखना मेरा कर्तव्य है। मैं देश के सभी लोगों को नमन करते हुए उन्हें विश्वास दिलाता हूँ कि सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः के भाव के साथ राष्ट्र की सेवा में निरंतर लगा रहूँगा। देश के लोगों का, हर राजनीतिक दल का और सभी जनप्रतिनिधियों का एक बार पुनः बहुत बहुत आभार और आप सभी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
There you saw Nath Kovind saying that on a rainy day in the national capital, he was reminded of his origins in the village and reminded of farmers who have to work very hard every day, even amidst the pouring rain. Let's listen into more political reactions that are coming in. Yogi Adityanath, Chief Minister of UP, the state that is now going to get its first president, and that's significant again, is speaking, as is Nitin Gadkari, who accompanied Mr. Kovind on his campaign to several states like Maharashtra, Goa and Gujarat. Listen in. There we have the reactions coming in, but Ankit Tyagi is the man who's in the village of Nath Kovind. Ankit, how many of those villagers, particularly family members, are planning to attend the 25th ceremony? Ankit, I think Ankit's voice is, our voice is getting drowned in all the dholaks that are playing in the village. Wonderful pictures that are coming in at the moment there from Nath Kovind's village. Ankit, can you hear me?
Rajdeep, absolutely I can. I mean, there is so much noise here in celebrations. This is right outside Nath Kovind's elder brother's residence, where people are already partying. I mean, it's a celebration that is going on. As you can see just behind me, there were some firecrackers in just a short while back that in fact were bursted here to celebrate the victory, and more firecrackers have come. There are people, those who are coming from adjoining places, their relatives from villages in Kanpur, Dehats, from other places as well, and you can see that they're extremely excited. Let me Rajdeep, because Ramnath Kovind was speaking about his struggle early on, about how he struggled with education, with a large family and poverty. His brother is with me. Let me just try and get in a word from him. रामनाथ कोविंद जी अभी जब बात कर रहे थे उन्होंने बताया कि बचपन में बड़ी मुश्किल दिन थे, बड़ा परिवार था, पढ़ाई लिखाई में बड़ी परेशानी थी, पैसे की तंगी थी। किस तरीके से आप उनके बचपन को देखते हैं, कितनी मेहनत करनी पड़ी उन्हें?
बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ी।
और अब आपको कभी लगा था राष्ट्रपति बनेंगे देश के?
कोविंद ने खुद ही नहीं सोचा था, कोविंद ने खुद ही नहीं सोचा था।
So he's the elder brother of Ramnath Kovind, Rajdeep, and the party here has been going on since morning. बताइए।
भाई साहब के बारे कोई चलता पद चिन्हों पर कोई पद चिन्ह बनाता है वही सूरमा इस दुनिया में, सो जग में पूजा जाता है। ऐसे हमारे चाचा रामनाथ जी कोविंद जिन्होंने भारत ही नहीं विश्व में सितारे की तरह सबकी चमक फैलाई है।
Okay, so Rajdeep, of course, people are singing poems for him. But the important thing, of course, is that Ramnath Kovind, of course, the man who has been cut in the BJP's cloth, now will be occupying the President's house. And everybody here saying, as you can hear behind me, Jai Shri Ram is a big underlined slogan here. Narendra Modi, Ramnath Kovind and Jai Shri Ram is in the celebrations here in Kanpur.
Can I ask you, if you can hear me, one question? How many of them want to go to attend the ceremony? How many of them believe that if they go to Rashtrapati Bhavan, they will be allowed to enter?
Let me try. एक मिनट भाई साहब, एक मिनट। आप लोगों में से कौन जाना चाहता है? मैं परिवार से पूछता हूँ, आप लोगों में से क्या आप लोग जाएंगे उनकी स्वेरिंग सेरेमनी? जब राष्ट्रपति जी की स्वेरिंग सेरेमनी होगी, आप लोग जाएंगे दिल्ली?
हाँ, बिल्कुल जाएंगे।
अच्छा, पूरा परिवार तैयारी है?
हाँ जी, पूरे परिवार तैयारी।
शॉपिंग कर लिया?
जी, पूरी तैयारी, शॉपिंग वगैरह सब कर लिया हम लोग।
कितना बातचीत होती है आपकी उनसे और उनके परिवार से?
बहुत बातचीत होती है। अभी एक हफ्ते पहले फोन आया था हमारे हस्बैंड के पास, हमारे ससुर जी के पास, काफी बातचीत हुई है।
जब आते हैं तो कैसे मिलते हैं आप लोगों से? मतलब अभी भी लगता है कि राष्ट्रपति जी बन गए हैं, गवर्नर थे इससे पहले, या बिल्कुल आप लोगों को तो पारिवारिक किस तरीके से मिलते हैं?
पारिवारिक की तरीके, मतलब कि उनको नहीं लगता कि राष्ट्रपति है, जैसे हमारे चाचा जी है वैसे ही बिल्कुल मिलते हैं।
You know, the family Rajdeep is excited. They are expecting a call and they are expecting that they would be in fact be going there for the ceremony for the President of India. Already saying, in fact, there are few local leaders, those who have also started coming here. Sir, आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
मैं यहीं से हूँ, मेरा नाम बब्बन शर्मा है, मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कार्यकर्ता हूँ और सभी कार्यकर्ताओं को बहुत खुशी है कि आज कोविंद जी देश के राष्ट्रपति बने हैं। हम लोगों ने बचपन से उनको देखा है, उनके साथ राजनीति की है, उनका सेवा भाव देखा है।
नहीं तो अब राष्ट्रपति भवन में आप चाहेंगे कि वो भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता पे तौर पे काम करें या देश में सबके राष्ट्रपति हों?
देश के राष्ट्रपति हों। अब तो वो निष्पक्ष काम करेंगे, दलीय राजनीति से ऊपर उठकर काम करेंगे, लेकिन उनका सेवा भाव उनको यहाँ तक ले गया।
भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता होने के नाते कैसा लग रहा है? आज प्रधानमंत्री भाजपा के, आरएसएस के, एक राष्ट्रपति जी भी भाजपा के, कैसी महसूस हो रही है आप लोगों को?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। इससे ज्यादा खुशी की बात हम कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए कुछ हो नहीं सकती है। कोई राजनीतिक कार्यकर्ता इसी उद्देश्य के लिए काम करता है कि उसकी सरकार देश में बने, उसकी विचारधारा के लोग आगे बढ़े, उसकी विचारधारा के लोग मजबूत हो।
You know, Rajdeep, that's the underline. भाजपा की विचारधारा के लोग आगे बढ़े, and this is the first time that BJP would be occupying the post of the President, Vice President and the Prime Minister of the country.
I still wonder though, I'm sorry to be cynical sometimes, how many of them will actually be allowed entry into Rashtrapati Bhavan. But this is a big day for the village. This is a day where the village has every right to celebrate, and it is a great India story at the end of the day. The rise from a small village to Rashtrapati Bhavan. Ankit Tyagi joining us, Sanjay Jha, leader of the Congress, joining us, Sandeep Singh, author, who is a right-wing RSS supporter, is also with us. Sandeep Singh, I asked you this question in the morning. Would I be right in saying that this is a truly historic day for the RSS, an organization which for a long time was seen as untouchable, whose history has been ridden with controversy, today now has a Pracharak as Prime Minister and an RSS supporter, worker as the President of the country? Is it historic or not in that sense?
Yeah, Rajdeep, it's a historic moment, and just to say that every history is riddled with, what you call controversies, anybody's history. But coming to the point, yeah, and the first thing that through you, I like to congratulate President-elect Kovindji, wish him a successful tenure. It's a very heartening moment. RSS philosophy is putting the last first, Antodaya, and today we are saying that the first person, as we call the president, is from a community which was, we call Dalit, or which was backward. So yes, it's a historic occasion. The one-point agenda that RSS had is that putting the last first, Antodaya. We can see it clearly happening. The president is there from Dalit community. We have a prime minister from OBC community. So yes, it just says that RSS, whatever it takes, it does deliver. It's honest to its promise, and people have started believing it. As I said in the morning, Dalits have embarrassed RSS, they've embraced RSS, and it's a mutual respect. They know that we are the party, or it is an organization which truly works for them. And in fact, this is what we saw in the voting pattern also. The call was for the consensus, and people cutting across party line have voted for Kovindji. So
can I bring in Sanjay Jha at the moment that this was, at the end of the day, the RSS now believes that its moment in a sense has come, Sanjay Jha. Is the Congress willing to accept in a way that this is, times have changed? 2014 was the election that changed India. You now have a prime minister who's an RSS man, a president who's an RSS man, and in a few days, a vice president will also be from the RSS. The top 3 constitutional posts all occupied by RSS men. Is the Congress willing to accept times have changed?
Rajdeep, firstly, I think one would like to congratulate Mr. Nath Kovind on his, winning this election to the August office of the President of India. Having said that, it's important to also reiterate the apprehensions of the opposition parties. I think very effectively articulated by Meira Kumar ji today in her acceptance speech, where she congratulated the new president-elect. India is a secular democracy. It's enshrined in our constitution. We are sanguine in our expectation that the new president will be bipartisan, because upholding the most sacrosanct constitutional values are what one expects from that very prestigious post. There is no denying, though, Rajdeep, I think we need to kind of bite the bullet that while it is a moment of celebration for the BJP and the RSS, there are severe strains on both the secularism of India as well as our democratic foundations. I mean, when you have today, it's not just love jihad and Ghar Wapsi, or now the Gau Rakshaks who are on a wild mob fury, killing innocent Muslims and lynching various other people to death. It's also the fact that when a popular TV editor in Maharashtra gets his program removed abruptly, you have yesterday an RJ from Mumbai who complained about the BMC, shall we say, lack of their ability to clean the city, having a 500 crore defamation suit. I think there are very serious
what are you expecting Mr. Kovind to do?
Institutions
do you want Mr. Kovind to step in? Let's be clear. The president has its limits. The presidency has its limits, and the Congress will will have to acknowledge the fact at the end of the day this is a BJP majority government.
Rajdeep, I mean, end of day, we understand and we acknowledge that the numbers are with the BJP. We have never doubted that. But the truth is that end of day, just because you have a political party in power, it does not mean that they can impose their very, very hardline ideology of Hindutva on the rest of India, because that is anti the Indian constitution. And we do believe that the RSS being the ideological mentors of this party. When Mr. Mohan Bhagwat goes on Doordarshan and talks of Hindu Rashtra, which is totally anti the Indian constitution, we do hope the President of India, the new President-elect of India, who of course has been part of that ideology in terms of his political background, will now have to stand up and uphold a view which is contrarian to the spirit of the party that he represented not so long ago. So these are real challenges, and I think just because this is a moment of celebration, we should not be politically shy of embracing what the hard times could be in the event that things don't work out the way we expect them to.
Can I also go to PDT Achari, former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha? Appreciate your joining us. Mr. Achari, very interesting. I'm getting the first figures, state-wise breakup of the result. Should I go by these figures at this stage, because they are important in knowing where the cross-voting took place. Some people are saying there was cross-voting. Some Congress MLAs have voted for the BJP in Gujarat, possibly in Goa. When will we get a clear idea of the extent of cross-voting? Because if I look at the big numbers, it appears more or less according to what was expected, around 66-67% of the votes to Mr. Kovind, about 33% to Meira Kumar.
Well, I think your figures are correct, more or less. And very soon you will come to know which state has voted for him, and I mean how many people, whether there has been cross-voting and all that. Well, some amount of cross-voting does take place in the presidential election. But I feel that if you look at the overall figure, perhaps it is the voting has taken place on the expected lines around, because towards the end of the campaign, the NDA was claiming that Sri Ramnath Kovind will get around 64 to 65%.
He's got about 2% more, sir. He's got about 1% or 2% more than what we expected. So it's a very limited cross-voting.
Yeah, limited cross-voting, but nevertheless, cross-voting does take place. And that has always happened. But there's nothing unusual about it in the presidential election.
Right.
That's what
Let me go to our correspondent Rahul Srivastav, also our national affairs editor, who's joining us. Rahul, what sense are you getting of, was there any major cross-voting? When I look at the numbers, it seems very, very marginal at the moment.
Rajiv, two very interesting elements. One is that there have been cross-voting very clearly in 7 odd states. And if you notice that these are the places where you have known elements of dissent. Like, for example, in Delhi, you have detractors within the Aam Aadmi Party of Arvind Kejriwal who could have voted for Mr. Kovind against the party line. Then you have Uttar Pradesh, where the family saga of the Samajwadi Party continues unabated, where Shivpal Singh Yadav was very clearly hinting to people that his faction of the Samajwadi Party will be voting in favor. Then there is Gujarat. Of course, there is trouble brewing in Gujarat, where Shankar Singh Waghela's men are suspected to have voted for Mr. Kovind, not for Meira Kumar. Then there is an unfortunate incident that members of parliament and MLAs in this country, 77 of them, Rajdeep, 21 members of parliament, couldn't opt rightly between two candidates, Meira Kumar and Mr. Ramnath Kovind. Their votes have been disqualified. But very interestingly, 21? If you will see that, 21 members of parliament.
You're saying 21 MLAs of parliament didn't know which button to press?
No, they were buttons. They were not buttons. They had to put number 1 and 2.
Right.
In terms of preferences, they couldn't do it rightly, so their votes have been negated. But if you see the verdict very clearly indicates that the Congress and the opposition needs to rethink, Rajdeep. See, for example, Andhra Pradesh, where they had a tall leader like YSR Reddy, and the Congress messed with Jagan Reddy. They didn't have a single member of parliament, member of the Legislative Assembly, 0 votes. Then you have Assam, where the Congress had tall leaders, didn't do very well. Arunachal Pradesh, where the rebellions twice in the Congress camp, and eventually the congressman, Mr. Kovind, could get votes. In Bihar, very interestingly, if you notice, if Nitish Kumar hadn't supported Mr. Kovind, then the story in Bihar would have been different. 24,000 votes for Mr. Kovind, 18,000 for Meera Kumar, 6,000 is the margin. So if the Congress was early off the block in announcing the candidate, perhaps the story in Bihar would have been different. The Congress and the opposition can draw consolation from the fact that Meera Kumar perhaps has polled the largest number of votes ever, it seems, as far as the runner-up is concerned.
Right. Let's take a break at this point. Very interesting point from Rahul Srivastav. 21 MPs, their votes were disqualified because they couldn't tick at the right place who was 1 and who was 2, and they cut across party lines. So there are as many as 21 MLAs who got their basics wrong. Let's listen into Murli Manohar Joshi and Yogi Adityanath as we take a break. They are celebrating this day. First president from Uttar Pradesh, remember also. Ramnath Kovind is the new president, the 14th president of the country, a day which in itself is historic because a man from a small village in Uttar Pradesh, from a Dalit family, Koli community, is now becoming the next president of India. So a remarkable story there. And Ramnath Kovind, and I want to play his words again, his first remarks after he became president. Listen in to Ramnath Kovind soon after he was elected president.
मेरा चयन मुझे बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी का एहसास करा रहा है। व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरे लिए ये बहुत ही भावुक क्षण है। आज दिल्ली में सुबह से बारिश हो रही है। बारिश का ये मौसम मुझे बचपन के उन दिनों की याद दिलाता है जब मैं अपने पैतृक गांव में रहा करता था। घर कच्चा था, मिट्टी की दीवारें थी। तेज बारिश के समय फूस की बनी छत पानी रोक नहीं पाती थी। हम सब भाई बहन कमरे की दीवार के किनारे खड़े होकर इंतजार करते थे कि बारिश कब समाप्त होगी। आज देश में ऐसे कितने ही रामनाथ कोविंद होंगे जो इस समय बारिश में भीग रहे होंगे, कहीं खेती कर रहे होंगे, कहीं मजदूरी कर रहे होंगे, शाम को भोजन मिल जाए इसके लिए पसीना बहा रहे होंगे। आज मुझे उनसे कहना है कि परौंख गांव का रामनाथ कोविंद राष्ट्रपति भवन में उन्हीं का प्रतिनिधि बनकर जा रहा है। मुझे ये जिम्मेदारी दिया जाना देश के ऐसे हर व्यक्ति के लिए एक संदेश भी है जो ईमानदारी और प्रामाणिकता के साथ अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करता है। इस पद पर चुना जाना न कभी मैंने सोचा था और न कभी मेरा लक्ष्य था, लेकिन अपने समाज के लिए, अपने देश के लिए अथक सेवा भाव आज मुझे यहाँ तक ले आया है। यही सेवा भाव हमारे देश की परंपरा भी है। राष्ट्रपति के पद पर मेरा चयन भारतीय लोकतंत्र की महानता का प्रतीक है। इस पद पर रहते हुए संविधान की रक्षा करना और संविधान की मर्यादा को बनाए रखना मेरा कर्तव्य है। मैं देश के सभी लोगों को नमन करते हुए उन्हें विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः के भाव के साथ राष्ट्र की सेवा में निरंतर लगा रहूंगा। देश के लोगों का, हर राजनीतिक दल का और सभी जनप्रतिनिधियों का एक बार पुनः बहुत बहुत आभार और आप सभी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Very, very heartfelt words there from Ramnath Kovind, his first remarks after becoming president of the country. Sanjay Jha, would you acknowledge that therefore Ramnath Kovind deserves today to be applauded because it's a remarkable story. It's a great India story. From a small village, Dalit family, goes on to become the president of India. And his political career is completely non-controversial. He was in fact secretary to Mr. Morarji Desai, former prime minister, was a Supreme Court advocate, two-time Rajya Sabha MP, and there is no stench of corruption or nepotism against him.
You know, Rajdeep, in fact, the candidature of both Mr. Kovind as well as Meira Kumar ji, I think both of them had very, very good credentials. I don't think we have made a statement on that. But I think our concern really has been, and I think that is a point that we have said it before the election, and I think Meira Kumar ji has reiterated that today, that the fight was never on some kind of an individual battle for, you know, who had more talent, although Meira Kumar ji's credentials are totally outstanding. The truth is it was an ideological fight. And I think, you know, that is an issue that cannot be frankly ignored even today. I mean, the truth remains that, you know, individuals have an ideology. End of day, they occupy a position where they're supposed to be totally, you know, distant from it. I mean, there's got to be absolutely no correlation between your political past and your current occupation. So end of day, I think these are matters on which I think the opposition has expressed its apprehensions. And we feel that with Mohan Bhagwat going on Doordarshan and talking about a Hindu Rashtra in his first speech, if you remember, in 2014 itself, I think when the government of the day knows that that is anti the Indian constitution, these are things that the new president will have to at some point address. And we do believe that at this point, whether it's a democratic expression, whether it's communal sentiment, end of day atrocities on Dalits themselves, on whom I think this government has been rather duplicitous, these are matters which at some point the new president will have to confront.
Sandeep Singh, is the Congress exaggerating this when they say that they are worried that the RSS has never fully endorsed the Indian constitution, that Ramnath Kovind as president troubles them. Remember, there is the Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute, which is expected to be resolved within the next 12 months. We have elections in 2019. Can we expect Mr. Kovind, as he was as Bihar governor, to be a copybook president as well?
Well, before I start, just answer your question, just 2 lines, The constitution given by Dr. Ambedkar was not secular. Just because Congress was in power those days, they misused the power and introduced the word secular. It was imposed on Hindus or the whole country. And when Sanjay Jha talks about a lot of things, I was wondering whether he represents the same Congress which is opposing Hindu Sarkar or which is cutting the head of cow in Kerala in broad daylight and celebrating party. It's the same Congress which goes to Pakistan and asks for a help. It's the same Congress which goes to Zakir Naik's platform and calls him a leader of peace or Masiha of peace or whatever. So we have seen what Congress has done. We have seen Kovindji's ruling as a governor in Bihar. Initially, Nitishji as well as Lalu Prasad Yadav had apprehension, but in the end, Laluji may not have voted for him, but he didn't complain against him, and Nitishji came and voted for him. So it speaks volumes about Kovindji, and RSS has always been talking about all-inclusive society. Until unless somebody comes and hits me, RSS, well, that's my view that I should be allowed to retaliate. And if you look at it, the Hindu temples are under government rule. In a Hindu country, there's the only country we can't build our own temple. When we go for Amarnath Yatra, Hindus need security. They are butchered. So obviously, Hindus are looking for somebody who's elected as a president will also think about Hindus, because we had a prime minister who said that minorities have the first right in all the resources.
He has to think of all Indians. He has to think of all Indians. We are a great plural society. These Hindus as victims cannot be the basis surely for being president of India. He has to think of all Indians. He is the president of India, of every Indian, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Jain, Buddhist. He is the president of every Indian.
Or minorities.
Of all Indians.
Nobody was thinking about Hindus. I think that he should think about Hindus also. He should consider Hindus to be Indians. Till now, we had a prime minister.
Sir, you have a Hindutva party in power, Hindu culture, Hindu ideology more dominant than ever before. I am unable to understand where this Hindu as victim narrative comes from. And I'm not sure whether this is the right occasion.
Hindus need protection when they go within their own country for Amarnath Yatra and they get butchered. How come cow's head is butchered in broad daylight and party is celebrated,
Okay.
Why our Hindu temples are under government rule? Why they don't take over mosque and church? They have also cases of misuse of fund. Obviously, Hindus are threatened in this country.
Okay.
Otherwise, why do you think Kovind got voted? Cross-voting happened. Why people from other party
I don't think Kovind's cross-voting has anything to do with Hindutva, sir. Please. Kovind's cross-voting has to do with whatever cross-voting took place because of political reasons on the ground. Let us not mislead viewers, sir. You are entitled to your opinion. But cross-voting had nothing to do with Hinduism.
And voted for Kovindji. And it's the Congress who is saying it. It's not me. They've talked about ideology. It's a fight about ideology. They have been still saying that. And ask them. He raised the issue. That, Hindus, he raised the issue of communalism, not me.
Okay, let's take a break and then come back with more. At the end of the day, Nath Kovind is the proud president of an entire country. Okay, the states I'm just looking at where cross-voting has taken place are states like Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. These are interesting states, Gujarat particularly, because this state goes to the polls in December this year. So at the moment, minor cross-voting, but cross-voting nevertheless. And that will be troubling news, particularly for the Congress party. I hope you will acknowledge that, Sanjay Jha, that the Mahagathbandhan idea, the idea of a united opposition against Mr. Kovind clearly didn't work.
Well, Rajdeep, please look at the historical trend. If you look at the election when Mr. Pranab Mukherjee became the president of India, across several BJP states, there was massive amount of conscious voting in favor of Mr. Mukherjee. So, to some extent, some minor degree of cross-voting was not something which is got to be treated as a very unusual development, although we will definitely look into it. But the larger point is the opposition unity in terms of 17 parties coming together to support Meira Kumar ji. And as you'll find for the vice presidential election, you even have Mr. Naveen Patnaik's party, the BJD, as well as Mr. Nitish Kumar's JDU backing the vice presidential candidate. So I think the opposition unity is extremely strong, and end of day is a manifestation of the apprehensions that we all have expressed over the last several years since Mr. Modi came into government. I want to make a mention that I found the statement of the RSS spokesperson on your channel very disconcerting. I mean, this is the moment when they have a president in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, but already giving it a very, what I call as a fairly disturbing, ideological culture, and talking about, using religion subtexts already. I think that is something that we should be really concerned about as citizens of a very free, secular and a liberal India.
Right. Well, we will have to see whether those Congress fears are exaggerated or whether they actually materialize. Most Indian presidents, once they've occupied the office, have tended to be constitutionalists. Of course, there have been exceptions. I can go back to Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, among others, against whom serious questions will be raised. Just to play those visuals once again of Kanpur Dehat, where even as the Prime Minister congratulates Ramnath Kovind at the moment, with Amit Shah also there. So this is the duo really, which in a sense has brought Mr. Kovind, Anand Kumar, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, also there, and the Prime Minister is felicitating the President Ramnath Kovind. It was very much Narendra Modi's nominee. In that sense, Mr. Singh, there will be those who will say that Ramnath Kovind is the BJP's answer to Pratibha Patil. He was a relative political non-entity. In fact, Pratibha Patil perhaps had a more distinguished political career. She was MP several times, MP minister in the Maharashtra government. Is Ramnath Kovind going to be a Pratibha Patil of the BJP?
I think that is precisely the reason why he is not going to be Pratibha Patil of BJP, because he was a governor. He was not a so-called, direct politician, and his career as a governor has been perfect. As I said, that initially even Nitishji and Laluji had an objection, but Laluji didn't complain against him. He may not have voted for him, and Nitishji came and voted for him. So obviously Kovind's career is far better than Pratibha Patil's. If you go back and see, he has been elected into allied services, which he didn't opt. He practiced as a lawyer. And there has been, as I think initially you only mentioned that he has a perfect career. There is no question mark on his career. So I guess that speaks volumes about him. And I'm sure that his presidency will be one of the best that we have seen so far.
Well, we wish him well. Ramnath Kovind, 14th President of India. All we can do is wish him well. He occupies a very luminous office, one that some would say has limited scope for discretionary powers, but nevertheless, as the first citizen of the country, he will be expected to inspire people. He will be expected to be a moral compass to the government, and importantly ensure that the constitution is followed at all times. Let's leave it there on this big day. Ramnath Kovind will be the 14th President of India. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. These are the two members, one a Pracharak, one a BJP Rajya Sabha MP. The BJP RSS is on the ascendant, and that picture really reflects the ascendancy.